On a warm afternoon in a quiet suburban neighborhood, Officer Carter was on his usual patrol. The sun cast long shadows across the streets as children played in their yards and neighbors chatted over white picket fences. It was a peaceful day, but as Officer Carter drove his squad car down the road, his instincts told him something was off. He noticed a car parked on the side of the road, its engine running, but its driver sitting still. The car was a little old and faded, blending in with the surroundings, but standing out because of its unusual position. Officer Carter squinted, trying to see through the tinted windows, but he could only make out the silhouette of a man inside. Something about the scene didn't sit right with him. Officer Carter, a man known for his strict approach to law enforcement, pulled his patrol car to a stop behind the parked vehicle, stepped out, adjusting his uniform and putting on his serious face. As he walked toward the car, he felt a mix of determination and caution. He had seen enough in his years on the force to know that sometimes appearances could be deceiving. Reaching the driver's side window, he knocked firmly, the sound echoing in the stillness of the afternoon. The man inside, Alex, looked up, surprised. He was in his mid-30s, with dark hair and a calm expression. But there was something about his eyes that suggested he was deep in thought. He didn't respond immediately, instead staring at the officer with an unreadable expression. "Roll down your window," Officer Carter ordered, his voice steady but firm. Alex complied, lowering the window just enough for a conversation. The officer's eyes narrowed slightly as he leaned closer to the window. "What are you doing parked here?" Officer Carter asked, his tone heavy with suspicion. "You know, this is a residential area, right?" Alex took a deep breath, trying to remain calm. "I'm just waiting for someone," he replied, maintaining a polite demeanor. "I didn't mean to cause any trouble." But Officer Carter was not satisfied with the answer. He was used to dealing with people who were unwilling to cooperate, and in his experience, a parked car in the wrong place often meant trouble. "Waiting for someone? In a car like this? You don't look like you belong here," he said, his voice rising slightly. Alex felt a knot tightening in his stomach. Knew he needed to keep his cover, but the officer's aggressive stance was making it difficult. "I assure you, I'm just waiting," he repeated, his voice steady despite the tension. He glanced around, hoping to spot his backup arriving soon. Officer Carter's frustration grew. He could feel his adrenaline pumping as he continued to scrutinize Alex. "I need to see your identification," he demanded, crossing his arms. "If you're not doing anything wrong, then this should be easy." In that moment, Alex could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him. Was an undercover FBI agent on a crucial mission, trying to gather information about a criminal network operating in the area. He understood the officer's protective instincts, but he couldn't reveal too much without compromising his position. The tension in the air thickened as the two men faced each other, one filled with authority and the other with a sense of purpose. It was a standoff, each man convinced he was in the right. The sun continued to shine brightly, oblivious to the clash of intentions unfolding in its light. The tension between Officer Carter and Alex hung in the air like a thick fog. Officer Carter, feeling his authority challenged, leaned closer to the car window. "You think it's okay to just sit here without a reason? You're making people nervous," he said sharply. His tone was filled with suspicion, and he was determined to get to the bottom of the situation. Alex could sense the officer's increasing aggression. He understood how easily misunderstandings could spiral out of control. He had been trained to handle difficult situations with care, but this was different. "I assure you, I'm not a threat," Alex replied, trying to keep his voice calm and steady. "I'm waiting for backup. I'm on an important assignment." The mention of backup seemed to catch Officer Carter off guard for a moment. He hesitated, narrowing his eyes in disbelief. "An assignment? What kind of assignment?" asked, his tone shifting slightly as curiosity crept in. Alex knew he had to be careful with his words. Revealing too much could jeopardize his mission and expose him to danger. "I'm working on a case involving some serious criminal activity in this area," he said slowly, choosing his words carefully. "But I can't go into details. It's sensitive." Officer Carter's posture relaxed just a fraction, but he still wasn't convinced. "Sensitive, huh?" "That sounds like a cover story to me," he replied, skepticism lacing his voice. You expect me to believe you're some kind of undercover agent? The officer's doubt stung, but Alex remained composed. He could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him. I understand why you might think that, he said, attempting to bridge the gap between them. But I really am here to help. If you'd just let me explain, I think you'd see that. As they spoke, passersby began to notice the scene. A few neighbors glanced out their windows, some stopping to watch the confrontation unfold. The pressure of an audience added to the tension, and Officer Carter felt the need to assert his authority even more. He stepped back slightly, crossing his arms and looking at Alex with a critical eye. Listen, I don't know who you think you are, but I'm responsible for keeping this neighborhood safe, Officer Carter said, his voice firm. If you're not going to cooperate, I'll have no choice but to take you in for questioning. Alex felt a surge of frustration. He'd hoped for understanding, but instead he was met with hostility. He could see that Officer Carter was passionate about his job, but he also recognized that the officer's aggression was rooted in fear and misunderstanding. Please, just give me a chance to prove who I am, Alex pleaded, trying to reach out to the man before him. I can show you my credentials, but I need you to trust me for just a moment. Officer Carter hesitated. The idea of trusting a stranger, especially one who was acting so suspiciously, was difficult for him. Yet, deep down, he felt a small flicker of doubt about his own assumptions. He could see the sincerity in Alex's eyes, and it gave him pause. Trust is earned, not given, Officer Carter finally replied, the edge in his voice softening slightly. But I'm willing to listen. You've got one chance to convince me. As they stood there, the atmosphere began to shift. The tension was still palpable, but a tiny glimmer of hope flickered between them. Perhaps this encounter could lead to understanding instead of conflict. Alex knew he had to tread carefully, but he also felt that this moment could change everything. As the tension hung in the air, Alex took a deep breath, knowing this was his chance to explain himself. He understood that Officer Carter's aggressive stance came from a desire to protect the community. But he needed the officer to see the bigger picture. Before I show you my credentials, let me explain what I'm doing here, he said. His voice steady, Officer Carter remained skeptical, but nodded slightly, signaling Alex to continue. I'm part of an ongoing investigation into a criminal organization that has been active in this area for months, Alex began, choosing his words carefully. They've been involved in serious activities, including drug trafficking and violence. The officer listened intently, his expression shifting from suspicion to curiosity. What do you mean by serious activities? He pressed, leaning in slightly. Alex felt a sense of urgency. There have been reports of people going missing, and we believe this organization is connected to those cases. My role is to gather evidence and track their movements. I can't share too many details for safety reasons, but I need to stay undercover to do my job effectively. Officer Carter furrowed his brow, absorbing Alex's words. He had heard rumors about strange happenings in the neighborhood, but he had always dismissed them as exaggerations. Now, the idea that there could be something truly dangerous lurking in the shadows made him uneasy. Why are you parked here then? Officer Carter asked, his voice softer now, showing a flicker of understanding. Isn't it risky? Alex nodded, appreciating the officer's shift in tone. Yes, it is. But I'm waiting for backup from my team. They're monitoring the situation as well. I just need a little more time to collect information. Pause to gauge Officer Carter's reaction. That's why I can't reveal my identity completely. If the criminals find out, it could put both of us in danger. The officer took a step back, contemplating Alex's words. The thought of a dangerous criminal network operating in his neighborhood was alarming. So you're telling me that you're investigating a serious crime, and I almost arrested you for just waiting in your car? Yes, Alex replied, relieved that Officer Carter was beginning to see the truth. I know it sounds strange, but I promise you, I'm not a threat. I'm here to help keep the community safe. Officer Carter's mind raced as he processed the information. He had almost made a huge mistake by acting aggressively towards someone who was trying to do good. He felt a mix of embarrassment and concern. I'm sorry for how I treated you, he said, the sincerity evident in his voice. I was just doing my job, but I realize now that I misjudged the situation. Alex appreciated the officer's willingness to listen, feeling a weight lift off his shoulders. "Thank you for understanding," he said, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. "I really do need your help. If you could keep an eye out for anything suspicious, it could make a huge difference in our investigation." Officer Carter nodded, his demeanor now one of cooperation. "All right, let's work together," he said, taking a step closer to the car. "I'll call for backup, and we can share information. But I need to see your credentials to make sure you're who you say you are." Alex reached into his jacket pocket, retrieving his FBI badge with careful precision. He handed it to Officer Carter, who examined it closely. The officer felt a surge of respect for the man before him, realizing that they both had the same goal, to protect their community. As Officer Carter glanced at the badge, he could see the dedication in Alex's eyes. They were no longer just a police officer and a stranger. They were now partners in a mission that could change everything. As Officer Carter examined Alex's FBI badge, he felt a mix of surprise and respect. The shiny piece of metal confirmed that Alex was indeed who he claimed to be. He handed the badge back, his expression now serious but open. "I didn't expect this. I thought you were just another person causing trouble," he admitted, running a hand through his hair. Alex appreciated the officer's honesty. "I understand. It's easy to misjudge someone based on the situation," he replied. "Now that we're on the same page, I could really use your help." Officer Carter nodded, feeling a newfound sense of responsibility. "What do you need from me?" he asked, his tone more cooperative. "I need you to keep an eye out for any unusual activities in this area," Alex explained. "There have been reports of people disappearing, and I believe this criminal organization is involved. If you see anything suspicious, I need to know right away." The officer thought for a moment, considering his own role in the community. "I patrol this neighborhood regularly. I know the residents and their routines. If something feels off, I'll report it to you immediately," he said, feeling a sense of purpose. "Thank you," Alex said, relieved to have Officer Carter on his side. "I'm also waiting for my team to arrive. They're monitoring the area from a distance, but I want to make sure we're coordinated. We need to act quickly before the criminals realize someone is onto them." Just as Alex spoke, a radio crackled to life in Officer Carter's patrol car. "Unit 27, we have a report of suspicious activity at the old warehouse on Maple Street," the dispatcher announced. "A group of individuals has been seen entering and leaving the premises late at night." Officer Carter's heart raced. "That's just a few blocks from here," he said, turning to Alex. "It could be related to your investigation." Alex nodded, excitement and urgency flooding his veins. "That's exactly the kind of lead we need. If they're using that warehouse, it could be where they're hiding or planning their operations." Without hesitation, Officer Carter grabbed his radio. "Dispatch, this is Officer Carter. I'm responding to the report at the warehouse. I'll need backup." Looked at Alex, who was already preparing to follow him. "Are you ready to go?" Alex smiled, feeling a surge of adrenaline. "Absolutely. Let's go." They jumped into Officer Carter's patrol car, and the officer switched on the lights and sirens. As they sped through the neighborhood, Alex couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and nervousness. This was the moment he had been waiting for. But he also knew the risks involved. As they approached the warehouse, the building loomed large and foreboding. It was an old structure, with broken windows and peeling paint. Alex could sense that something was off. He could feel the tension building between them. Officer Carter parked the car a safe distance away. They both got out, quietly approaching the entrance of the warehouse. "Stay close," Officer Carter whispered, his eyes scanning the area for any signs of danger. Alex nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. They were stepping into the unknown, and they both understood that this could be a life-changing encounter. The stakes were high, and they needed to remain vigilant. As they crept closer to the warehouse, they could hear muffled voices coming from inside. Each step felt heavier as they prepared for what lay ahead. This was their chance to uncover the truth, but they both knew that danger could be lurking just around the corner. As Officer Carter and Alex moved closer to the old warehouse, the muffled voices inside grew louder. The air was thick with tension, and both men felt the weight of the moment pressing down on them.
Ow!
Officer Carter glanced at Alex, who nodded. In silent agreement, they needed to act quickly and carefully. "Let's get a closer look," Officer Carter whispered, his voice low and steady. They crept alongside the building, staying out of sight. The warehouse had several broken windows, and through one of them, they could see shadows moving. Alex's heart raced as he peered inside, trying to make out what was happening. Inside, a group of men gathered around a table cluttered with packages. Alex squinted, trying to see what was in the packages. He could make out some small, colorful bags that looked suspiciously like drugs. The sight sent a chill down his spine. This was the evidence they needed to bring down the operation. "Do you see that?" Alex whispered, pointing toward the table. Officer Carter nodded, his expression serious. "We need to get this on tape," he said, pulling out his phone. To record the scene discreetly, as Officer Carter focused on capturing the evidence. Alex's mind raced with thoughts of their next steps. "We can't just barge in," he cautioned. "We need to wait for backup. If we rush in now, we could lose everything." Officer Carter agreed, but the urgency in the air was palpable. "I don't like the idea of leaving them alone for too long. Who knows what they might do," he replied, his eyes darting around for any signs of movement. As they waited, Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of responsibility. This was not just about his mission. It was about protecting the community he had come to care for. He remembered the reports of people going missing and the fear that had gripped the neighborhood. He had to make this count. After a few tense minutes, the sound of sirens in the distance filled the air. Relief washed over Alex, but he also felt a surge of anxiety. "That's our backup," he said, glancing at Officer Carter. "We need to make sure we coordinate with them, Officer." Carter nodded, his expression now a mix of determination and focus. "Let's move a little closer so we can signal them when they arrive," he suggested. They carefully made their way toward the entrance of the warehouse. Keeping low and out of sight, just as they reached the door, they heard one of the men inside shouting angrily, "Get that package ready. We need to move before anyone sees us." The urgency in the man's voice sent a wave of adrenaline through Alex. They were running out of time. Now or never. Officer Carter said, his voice firm. "Let's get ready to make our move." Alex took a deep breath, preparing himself for what was about to happen. He felt a mix of fear and excitement, knowing they were on the verge of uncovering something significant. He glanced at Officer Carter, who gave him a reassuring nod. They were in this together, and they were ready to confront whatever lay ahead. As the sirens grew louder, signaling the arrival of backup, Alex and Officer Carter exchanged a determined look. This was their moment to act. They would not let fear hold them back. Together, they would take a stand against the darkness that had threatened their community for too long. With a deep breath, they pushed the door open, ready to step into the unknown. The warehouse was filled with shadows, but they were determined to bring the truth into the light. This was not just a mission anymore. It was a battle for justice, and they were prepared to fight. As Alex and Officer Carter stepped inside the warehouse, the sudden change in lighting hit them. The darkness contrasted sharply with the bright afternoon sun outside. The air was thick with a mix of dust and tension. The sight before them was shocking. Several men stood around the table, their faces twisted with anger and determination as they prepared to load packages into duffel bags. Alex and Officer Carter exchanged a quick glance, both understanding the gravity of the moment. They had to act fast. "On the count of 3, we move in," Officer Carter whispered, gripping his radio tightly. Alex nodded, his heart pounding as he prepared himself. 1, 2, 3. They burst into the room, and the men froze, startled by the sudden intrusion. "Police, don't move," Officer Carter shouted, his voice firm and authoritative. The room erupted in chaos as the men scrambled to grab weapons from nearby tables. "Back away from the table," Alex yelled, stepping forward with conviction. His training kicked in as he scanned the room for any threats. The criminals hesitated, unsure of what to do. The element of surprise was on their side, and Alex and Officer Carter had the advantage. Just then, the sound of sirens blared outside, signaling that backup had arrived. The criminals' eyes widened in panic as they realized the situation was turning against them. The door swung open, and several uniformed officers rushed in, ready to assist. Hands in the air, everyone on the ground. One of the backup officers commanded. The criminals, realizing they were outnumbered, quickly complied, dropping their weapons and sinking to the ground. Relief washed over Alex as he saw the backup officers taking control of the situation. Officer Carter moved, swiftly securing the area and ensuring that none of the criminals could escape. Alex, still focused on the table, hurried over to inspect the packages. He could see that they were filled with illegal drugs, just as he had suspected. This was the evidence they needed to take down the operation. Good work, Partner Officer Carter said as he joined Alex by the table. We couldn't have done this without you. Alex felt a swell of pride at the compliment. I appreciate it, but we still need to gather all the evidence and make sure everyone is accounted for, he replied, his mind racing with the next steps. As the backup officers began securing the criminals and calling in for additional support, Alex and Officer Carter worked together to document the scene. They took photos of the packages and noted the details for their reports. In that moment, a new understanding blossomed between them. They were no longer just an officer and an undercover agent. They were allies fighting for the same cause. Officer Carter had seen firsthand the danger Alex faced. Alex had gained a deeper respect for the challenges of law enforcement. Thank you for trusting me, Alex said as they worked side by side. I know it wasn't easy for you at first. Officer Carter smiled, acknowledging the truth of Alex's words. I was quick to judge. I've learned that sometimes we don't see the whole picture until we take a step back. I get it now. I see how important your work is. As they finished documenting the scene, the sound of approaching footsteps caught their attention. The lead detective from the FBI, a stern woman named Agent Thompson, entered the warehouse. Her eyes widened as she took in the scene. Quickly processing the situation, looks like you two made quite the catch, she said, her tone shifting from surprise to admiration. Great work, both of you. Alex felt a sense of accomplishment wash over him. It faced a challenging situation head-on and emerged victorious. This experience had not only strengthened their partnership, but had also shown them the power of understanding and teamwork in the fight against crime. As they prepared to leave the warehouse, Alex knew that this was just the beginning of a long journey. But with Officer Carter by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they had made a difference, and that was what mattered most. As the chaos of the warehouse began to settle, Alex and Officer Carter stood side by side, watching as their colleagues processed the scene. The criminals were handcuffed and escorted out by the backup officers, their faces a mix of defeat and anger. The weight of the moment hung in the air, but both men felt a sense of relief and accomplishment. Today was a success, Officer Carter said, turning to Alex with a smile. I never expected to be part of something like this. You really know? Your stuff, Alex returned the smile, feeling grateful for the officer's support. I couldn't have done it without you, Officer Carter. Your quick thinking made all the difference. As they stepped outside, the bright sunlight hit them, and they took a moment to breathe in the fresh air. The noise of sirens and chatter from the police department faded into the background, allowing them to reflect on what they had just accomplished. I didn't realize how much I needed this, Officer Carter admitted, looking out at the neighborhood. They had just protected. Working with you today opened my eyes to a different side of law enforcement. I've always been focused on routine patrols, but now I see how important teamwork is in tackling bigger problems. Alex nodded, understanding the significance of the moment. It's all about cooperation. We all want the same thing, a safe community. Sometimes it takes stepping outside our comfort zones to achieve that, he replied. As they walked back to the patrol car, Agent Thompson approached them. Great job today, both of you, she said, her expression proud. This operation will have a significant impact on the local drug trade. Your teamwork made it possible. Alex felt a sense of pride swell within him. He had faced a dangerous situation, but with Officer Carter at his side, they had turned it into a success. Thank you, Agent Thompson. I appreciate your support throughout this mission, he said sincerely. As they prepared to leave the scene, Officer Carter turned to Alex. So, what's next for you? You going to continue working undercover? Alex thought for a moment, considering the challenges he faced. Yes, I believe I will. There's still a lot of work to be done, and I want to make sure we follow up on this lead. But I also want to ensure that the community feels safe and supported during this process. Officer Carter's expression shifted, a look of determination. On his face, if you ever need assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be happy to help whenever I can, he offered. Alex was touched by the officer's willingness to support him. It means a lot, Officer Carter. Well, definitely. Keep that in mind. We're stronger together, after all. As they drove back to the police station, the atmosphere in the car was one of camaraderie. They exchanged stories about their experiences, finding common ground in their shared commitment to justice. The bond they formed during the mission transformed their relationship from strangers to partners. Upon arriving at the station, they were met with applause from their fellow officers. The success of the operation had spread quickly, and the atmosphere was filled with excitement. Alex and Officer Carter exchanged proud smiles, knowing they had made a difference that day. Reflecting on their journey, Alex realized that this experience had changed him. He had learned the importance of trust and understanding, even in the most challenging situations. Officer Carter had also gained new insights into the world of undercover work and the complexities of fighting crime. As they wrapped up their paperwork, Alex felt hopeful about the future. He knew there would be more challenges ahead, but he was ready to face them, knowing he had a partner in Officer Carter. Together, they would continue to work towards a safer community united by their shared purpose and newfound friendship.